What's up guys and girls, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I am going to look at 12 ways that you can improve your average speed on your bike. Now, I wanted to do this video because although I've seen other videos on this topic, I believe there is one thing that can happen when you're looking to improve your average speed, and that is you end up spending loads of money, when in reality, I think there are lots of ways that don't have any costs that can help you improve your average speed. That being said, let's get into it with point number 1. And that is clothing. Now, when you are on your bike, you yourself takes up around 4/5 of the actual area that is being hit by the wind. So the type of clothing that you have on is going to affect the aerodynamics, or how well you cut through the air, quite drastically. What you can do is try and reduce the amount of zips or seams or ripples. So if you're wearing something that's a little bit baggy, get something that's maybe a little bit more snug. I'm not saying go and buy a skin suit and go racing. I'm just saying consider it a little bit. If you're wearing a jacket and it's flapping about, get something tighter. And I must admit, when I done that, when I first started riding, it does have quite a big placebo effect as well. There's something about wearing good kit and being nice and snug and tucked in and not feeling the wind flapping everywhere that makes you kind of feel like it is a bit faster. I appreciate that not all of us are going to go out and buy the most aero-tight lycra clothing we can find and wear a skin suit whilst riding to work, but just make those little changes because it can save some watts here and there and improve your average speed. Point number 2 is tires. Now, your tires are your only connection with the ground, and the way that they roll is going to have a massive impact on your average speed. So the better the rolling resistance of the tire, the better your average speed will be. It's also quite an easy upgrade to do. It does have a cost involved. A set of tires such as a GP 5000 is around 30 to 40 pounds per tire. Now, the tire is actually forced to deform as it is going over the ground. A more supple tire has a better ability to flex, and that means that you will lose less energy. The second effect, or reduce in rolling resistance, is the way the tyre rolls over the bumps in the road. If it's not a very supple tyre, then it's going to skip and you lose energy. If it is more supple, then it has a better ability to roll over uneven surfaces, so to speak. So do your research on tyres. There are plenty of websites out there that compare different tyres, puncture resistance, etc. All comes into it, but it is a surefire way to improve your average speed if you don't currently have good tyres on your bike. Point number 3, and that is inner tubes. Now, swapping from your standard butyl tubes, your rubber inner tubes that you may be used to seeing, to latex inner tubes can be done pretty simply for around £10 per wheel, so £20 to upgrade your bike. And how many watts will you save, you ask? That is a good question. I've not tested this directly with a power meter out on the road, but apparently it's between 4 and 5 watts. So you can have some good savings there simply by swapping inner tubes. It's going to cost around £20. Point number 4, and that is deep section wheels. Now, I wasn't going to include this in this list because, as I said at the start, when someone says they want to improve their average speed, I don't think the response should be, buy these wheels that cost up to £500 and beyond, or buy a new aero bike that costs X amount. There are other areas you can focus on. However, you can't really ignore the fact that deep section wheels are going to improve your average speed because they are far more aerodynamic. Now, it is worth noting that the faster you go, the more you will gain from having aerodynamic wheels. So at 15 miles per hour, the margins may be a little lower, but at 20, 25 mile an hour, you'll start to gain a lot more. So it's almost a benefit because the faster you get, the more you improve your average speed, the better the wheels work, the faster you go. Point number 5, and this is probably the most important point for me, and that is the engine, aka you. You are the engine. So no matter how good your bike is, your clothing, your deep section rims, your tires, without a good engine to power it all, you're not going to improve your average speed. Now, you need to treat your body like a temple. You want to put the right fuel in. You want to make sure that you're stretching regularly. You want to make sure that everything is as good as possible with yourself so you can output as much power as possible. And the best thing about it, peeps, is it's free. It's the biggest upgrade you can get, and it is totally free. And as you improve yourself, which is awesome anyway, self-care is important, then you will get faster. And as you get faster, you feel better, you train more, you push faster and faster and faster. It's a great spiral to be on when you really focus on you so you can propel your body forward. This is what I like to focus on rather than trying to buy a bike that is maybe £3,000–4,000. So peeps, focus on yourself. I will preach that in every single video that I do about this, because as you guys and girls know, that caring for yourself and improving yourself is the best way, just in general, to keep yourself healthy and happy and mentally well, but also to improve your average speed. That brings me nicely onto my next point, which is weight. Now, the industry will have you believe that you need to go and buy a nice lightweight road bike, carbon frame, deep section rims that weighs 8 kilograms. In reality, many of us could lose maybe 5 kilos, I'm gonna say average. At the minute now, for example, I'm 82 kilos. In the peak of summer last year, I was 78 kilos when I was at my fittest. So the best way to lose weight is to lose weight from your body. Now, that's not gonna apply to everyone, admittedly. You may be super fit, super light. So saving weight on your bike is the only way to actually lose weight. I say that as lightheartedly as possible. You know, I've been in that situation. The next point is to change it up. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean, it is easy to plateau, people. It's very easy. It's easy to go and do the same rides over and over. It's easy to get consistent mileage each week, and it becomes hard to improve. So by changing it up, you are going to push your body. Now, you can do this by doing different routes. You can do different types of training sessions. Maybe if you haven't tried intervals, do intervals, try endurance. Mix it up in the week and try different things. Now, there is a quote from Arnie. I don't regularly quote Arnie, but he said, shock the body, shock the muscles. And this is very true. And I think it's true, you know, in the gym. I used to train a lot in the gym, on the bike. You need to kind of mix it up so your body keeps having to adjust and improve. Otherwise, you can just plateau. Now, that's a good saying, a good way to explain it. So mix it up if you can. If you're struggling and you're plateauing and you can't seem to push past that, think of ways to change what you are doing so that you can. Point number 8 is to test yourself. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean, you will only know if you're improving your average speed if you are testing yourself and you can see how you're improving over time. Now, you may be super self-motivated and you may be able to test against yourself, which helps massively. Strava, for example, can do matched routes, so you can see how you're progressing over routes over time, segments, you can see your improvement over time. Now, that is competitive against yourself. However, I would say go and ride with other people, because other people that you ride with are also a judge and a way for you to measure how you're doing. You know, if you're riding in a group of people and you're struggling to keep up, and then 3 months later, you're the one that finds yourself pulling at the front a little bit more, that is a good indication to you that you've improved. There's nothing like a bit of friendly competition. I mean, my friends, we all kind of push each other forward, help each other out, give advice, give tips. And that is a winning formula, to be honest, if you ask me. So test yourself, peeps, and that way you'll know that you are progressing. Point number 9 is to learn to corner effectively. It sounds pretty straightforward, but honestly, do your research, have a look. The pros will take every last inch they can to carry momentum through the corner so that you exit the corner with maximum speed. That is going to keep your average higher. Also think about the line that you are taking through the corner, because that, again, the best line is going to be the quickest line. That's going to improve your exit speed out the corner, and that is going to improve your average speed over the course of a ride. The next point is to check your tire pressures, peeps. If you do not have a track pump, then do invest. It is the best thing you will buy. I check my tires pretty much every ride or every other ride. Now, the pressure your tires should be is going to depend on your body weight, the tires, the conditions, etc. But you should work that out and work out what is best for you, because the tire pressure affects rolling resistance, and again, that is your one contact with the ground. So you want to make sure that you get your tire pressures correct and make sure that that is right for you. Just because someone else has their tires at 90 doesn't mean you have yours at 90. But it can have a massive impact on rolling resistance and improve your average speed on the bike. My next point is over learning. Now, you may be thinking, Jordan, what do you mean by this? And what I mean is, There are lots of factors involved in increasing your average speed. There isn't one answer. What I'm saying is learn how to corner, learn about clothing, learn about tires, tire pressure, learn about bike handling, learn ways that you can improve and overlearn, learn everything about them. You start to really realize how each one can be improved and help you improve your average speed. Now, the way to do this is to constantly ask why. So ask yourself, why do I need that extra 5 PSI in my tires? Why should I wear a skin suit? Why do I need those deep section rims? Really research topics, overlearn, then you can really make an informed decision yourself. And I'm all about that, empowering you, empowering the rider, and not just, going out and buying stuff to try and make yourself faster. Really understand that there is a learning curve to all of this, and at the end of that learning curve, you will improve. My final point, and it is kind of a summary of all the points so far, is to sharpen the axe. Now, another saying, if you gave a human 6 hours to cut down a tree, spending the first 4 hours learning how to cut down the tree and sharpening the axe is the best way to do it, and then spend 2 hours actually chopping. What I mean by this is choose which point in this video actually relates to you the most. If you need to upgrade your bike, upgrade your bike. If you need to focus on your fitness, focus on your fitness. That way you can actually make the best improvements quickest. When you refine that one, then you can move on to the next. It's easy sometimes to focus on areas you like to focus on, but they are not necessarily going to give you the best gains when improving your average speed. So sharpen the axe, people. Focus on what will work for you and give you good gains on your average speed. Now, I want to end this video by saying something, and that is to just ride your bike. I know focusing on all these things sometimes can seem like they're the things that are going to make you progress the most, but I remember when I was starting out and I wanted to improve my average speed, I remember talking to a good friend of mine who's ridden many years, very good rider, about tinkering my bike. Shall I buy this? Shall I get that? What happens if I do that? Will that help me improve? Can I ride faster like this? And sometimes his response was simply just to ride your bike, because by nature of riding your bike, you will be out on the road or gravel or trails, whatever it may be, and you will think, I wonder if some different tires would be better. I wonder if it would be better to change my top actually is flapping about. You kind of come to these natural conclusions. Rather than reading them, you actually are out on the bike and experience it, and then that way you can focus on improving that element that you actually have experience with and will improve your riding. So I hope you enjoyed this video, fine people. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, then you are a star. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and with this one, share with someone who you think will find these tips relevant and this video may resonate with. So until the next one, fine people, as always, self-love and safe riding.